tryna do? Hustle and motivate. Choppers a throwaway. Hustle the overweight. That's why they follow me, They think I know the way. Cause I took control of things. Ballin' the solo way. And if you pattern my trend, I make you my protege. Slossin' that soldier race. Niggas don't know them days. Take you in back of the buildings. Make you expose your rage. Take you across the tracks. Make you explode the face. Now you official now, but you got a soul to save. I just been cooking that new. I'm about to drop in a few. Think if I call it the great, the people gon' call it the truth.
Welcome to the BS Podcast, where we talk about everything the people don't want to talk about. That real stuff, and none of that BS. Talking about post-grad transition. Let's start off with intros. Like, what's everybody's name? Where's everybody from? Where they went to school?
I'm John from LA. When Florida came back to LA. Went to school over at CSUN, Cal State Northridge. But the reason I agreed to go and join this is that it seems like 1 degree isn't enough. I'm going back for another back in Jacksonville, Florida.
What's up? I'm Drake Irvine from LA and from the Valley. Went to Crespi for high school. Went to college in Marist, South New York. I studied political science. I studied political science and sports communications.
My name is Alex Sands. I'm from Macon, Georgia. Went to Howard University with Darcel, my line brother, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And now, after graduation, I began working in consulting here in Los Angeles.
So tell me a little bit about your guys' experiences in college at your universities. Did you have a great time there? Was it a bad time? Kind of explain your experiences from college.
College I went to, it's a PWI in the purest of sense. You got the kids from that tri-state area, New Jersey, New York, upstate New York kids. You got Massachusetts kids. So it's really preppy type kids. And I think that kind of messed up my mindset going into it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of what you put in is what you're going to get out of a situation. And I don't necessarily think I put in the best effort into myself when I was there for 4 years. I spent 1.5 years abroad though. But experience at the school in New York was just, a little bit of a culture shock. You know what I'm saying? You're getting thrown into school with all these preppy, stuck-up white kids. You know what I'm saying?
Did you feel out of place there?
I did feel out of place, and that was probably the first time in my life I felt out of place, even though I've been to a couple private schools before then. It was just more the fact that, there was no socioeconomic connection. You know what I'm saying? Being in LA, even if somebody is of a higher economic status, y'all have a connection in some way, shape, or form because you're from the same city. I don't know, but those kids, ultimately I blame it on myself. I should have made more connections, and that ultimately put myself in a position I'm in now, which isn't the best, but you know what I'm saying? Everything's a learning experience, but so you just gotta learn to grow.
Yeah, that's that was one thing that was a little bit different about Howard, especially going to predominantly all white high school and then going to Howard. It was a little bit different because it's just that was the first time actually being around people that look like you, that think like you.
All the time,
yeah. So it's just that was it was a shock to me just because it's just prior to that, it's just I didn't know there was a place like that. I didn't know there was a place where people can learn, people can grow like that and be comfortable in a sense. But yeah, it's just but I can definitely see how being in an element where you got people from different backgrounds and different all different walks of life. I could see how that can be challenging in a sense. So
right.
I definitely feel that. Alex, what about you? How was your experience at Howard?
Well, you kind of already know. Darcel knows because he was right there with me. But we enjoyed ourselves. I feel like we did it right. I feel like we did it right, Howard is HBCU, the mecca of black education in Washington, D.C. We was turned up. We had a lot of fun. the growth as a person that you get from being in a certain space. You get a certain sense of identity that can't be taken away from you, no matter where you go. You gain a very tight network that I've found has served me since being here in LA, which is very far from home. I don't have any family here. And having that network of Howard, it has been invaluable. Also, what I'll say is that by taking advantage of the situations that you're being put in. So like Darcel and I, we played Omega Psi Phi, so that put us in a position of strength at Howard. And we took that and we did the best that we could with it. And we did our thing. Events, programs. And I hope and pray that, you know, what we did like made the people around us in our community a better place. I wouldn't trade my experience at Howard for the world. And yeah, it was a good while it lasted, you know, but you gotta move on. So now I'm out here just trying to keep the growth, keep the upward trajectory going.
Okay, John, tell us a little bit about your experience, because I know you were a little bit different, going junior college route and then going into 4 years. Tell us about that.
Spent 3 years dicking around at a JC. Didn't care about my grades. Just enough to transfer out. Last year I started working a little harder. I ended up getting to some good schools, but I decided to do Cal State Northridge just for price. When I got there, I was also working full-time, taking full-time units, and it was difficult still. I had to balance that, living far away, taking care of the apartment, girlfriend, dogs, all that shit. And then my second semester there, I'm coming home. I was night shift managing a hotel. Come home from that to my girlfriend packing up to leave. I had no idea. So I just started working hard.
So, like, how do you guys feel like your relationships were part of this transition?
100% positive.
Really? So you feel like she helped you in like the transition?
Helped me grow exponentially.
Okay, yeah. Speaking on my experience, I know it's kind of like at first it was positive, but then it kind of turned into a negative. I mean, because it was like positive because like it's just like when I was graduating Howard, like it's just like I was kind of in a slump because I graduated late. I graduated a semester late, so all my friends and stuff were gone, and then it's just like being there like an extra semester. It's just like damn, like not sure what I want to do in life. It's just like it becomes a headache or whatever. So it's just like I decided to come to LA, and when I come to LA, it's just like my girl, she was just like didn't want me to go, and it's just like at that point it's just like I feel like in order for you to grow, in order for you to succeed in any way or form, like you got to cut out all like toxic ways, toxic people in your life, because it's just like somebody's preventing you from doing something. It's just like that'll be bad on you. So no matter how much you love a person, it can be your friends, family, or whatever. Like these things can be very toxic, and you won't grow from it.
But that's still positive because you knew you had the ability to do it and you did it.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways with that.
Yeah.
When you talk about the growth, like that really hit home for me because I was in a similar situation. I had a girlfriend, and then I transitioned out here. And when I transitioned out here, it took a while. It was kind of rough for me at first. You know, moving to LA was not an easy thing, but as I began to get more settled and begin to grow in myself, then I started to see that my relationship was hindering my ability to grow as a person and in the ways that I needed to grow individually. But that's also because my girl was in Oakland and I was in LA. So it was a long distance thing, and everyone knows that can be very draining, and it was. But they say that people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And you have to be able to understand the difference. And I know that in the current season that I'm in, that situation was not beneficial to my growth, you know, especially spiritually.
So negative or positive?
In terms of what was the relationship positive overall?
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, yes, definitely. I even reflecting on it after the fact, I realized how much different of a person, that I became after that relationship, even down to like my diet. Like, I'm a pescatarian now. I was not anywhere close to that before.
That's wild.
So,
He's not vegan.
yeah. But somebody's good. Somebody's a solid person, or at least a person for you when it makes you start acting different. Lifestyle changes. And I'm better for it. Exactly. I'm better for those lifestyle changes.
Drake, did you want to touch on that?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely had a couple relationships at college. They're all positive in one way or another. I think one was toxic, definitely, super toxic. I just don't think we're the right people for each other. But ultimately, that shit helped me grow so much. Basically, just learned a lot of the habits and traits I had were really toxic, and I wasn't necessarily a good person. A little bit manipulative. So that relationship helped me grow. Another sort of relationship I had, ultimately, we were just in two different spaces in life. She was already working out here, moved in LA, and I was still in college. So that kind of, I wouldn't say gave me motivation, but put a little fire under my butt, helped me grind a little bit more, get that career path started as soon as possible. But
so were you doing like a long distance relationship at the time, or?
I guess, yeah. I guess we sort of started when I was gone, and then started dating when I was back in LA for a little bit, and I was gonna go back to school.
Okay.
Just sort of realized that that wasn't gonna be it, pretty much.
Yeah.
But no, it's always positive because you get to learn. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever felt like I ever got held back at all. I always felt like the woman I had in my life really always saw the best in me and really always kind of pushed me so much.
Yeah, because the negatives kind of just sit there. They don't go with you.
Right.
The positives, you always learn and adapt from the
No,
positives.
exactly.
That's real.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Unless you was in like a real abusive relationship where, like a girl really traumatized you, and, you know what I'm saying, you didn't really heal from that trauma, then that could be a negative.
Yeah.
Even that in itself, you know what I'm saying, you gotta learn and grow.
Yeah. And I feel like aside from relationships, I feel like any situation that you put in, like as long as you're able to take the positives from it and like use that to adapt to grow, like it's beneficial. And I feel like that's important. Like, but if you're in a situation and you're not taking anything from it, then that's when it's kind of like, what are you doing?
That's when you need to get out.
Yeah.
You really need to get out.
After college, did you guys feel like you guys were prepared to go into the real world?
No.
With the real world?
Fuck no.
Why you sound so confident with that fucking number?
Because I'm not using my degree for shit, and even if I was to use it, it wouldn't be enough to live.
So do you feel like getting that degree was a waste?
No. I do love the subject, and I have great connections from the subject, and those connections are the reasons I got into schools I got into when I was considering it. I fucked around in so hard in in community college. So I had great letters of rec. Say like, yeah, no, that's not him. Like, look at these grades. Look how he took 10 classes, worked 70 hours a week. He can take your program. So no, it wasn't a waste. It was a stepping stone.
Okay.
But I'm not using that degree, and it did not prepare me for the real world.
Yeah.
University, like social aspect, real life aspect, yeah, absolutely. Education, no.
Yeah, I kind of feel, well, I feel like my degree helped me in a way more of like learning how to network and put myself in the right positions. But as far as like having a career, nah. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like, especially at Howard, I feel like they teach you to go work for somebody and be like in corporate, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that, but that just wasn't me. And it's just like, I feel like that's important, knowing yourself and not doing things just because other people are telling you this is what you need to do. I feel like you definitely need to stay true to yourself and go down the path that you want to, because it's just like, if you're not doing that, like, it's just like, I know so many people who are in jobs that like they hate the jobs and stuff. And it's just like, why would I want to spend, at this point, it's not even 40 hours a week. A lot of these jobs, you're working 55 hours a week, and you're hating your job, hating your life, and it's just like, why would I want to put myself in that position? Like,
You're hardly making ends meet doing that.
yeah. Do you guys feel like you guys were ready after college for that transition into the real world?
I do because, luckily I was blessed to have gotten a full-time job offer in a competitive industry.
Uh-huh.
And I also had the latitude to be able to choose that I wanted to move across the country. That's where it got difficult. That's what I'm working through now. But I mean, it's a growth process. It's hard to do that. It's hard to jump out to a city like LA and just get it started and figure it out. But that's what I'm doing.
So do you feel like you were put in a slump, like once like moving to LA and stuff? Do you feel like it was hard and like you were kind of like down for a moment, or like were you able to adapt to the situation?
Yeah, well, I also should preface it in saying that towards the end of my time in college, I got re-aggravated an injury that I previously had that it had been wearing itself kind of down just by me not taking proper care of myself.
Right.
But yeah, eventually, like, I was having issues with my shoulder and I had to get surgery again, and that surgery really took a lot out of me. Like, it put me, I was down bad for a while. Like a couple weeks soon after crossing the stage, I was humbled greatly to where I couldn't even get out of bed, and I had to battle from that. And it's still a process. I'm still working my way back, but I'm a lot further than I was when I started. So to preface it with that, first, physically I was down and out, then I was healing all summer as well as traveling. So I'm still living my life, but working through things personally. Moved out here, thought that I was going to figure it out quickly, and I didn't. Bounced around a lot. But through bouncing around, I mean, there's positives of it. Like, I've seen a whole lot of California now. I got to stay in San Diego for a while. I, developed and established relationships by bouncing around and, really having to not stand on my own, having to depend on others. That interdependence kind of forces you to develop the bonds that you have in place, or to establish new bonds based on the situations that you get put in. So for me, it's just been a long process over the past year, from having the world at my fingertips within college to jumping out into the real world and having to figure it out, and really being dealt some difficult circumstances and some not even difficult, but opportunities for growth, because it was a lot. You got to figure it out. You got to do it. It is what it is. You got to keep it pushing. And so working through this, it's when I say when it's a slump, shit sucks for there's periods of time it shows trash for maybe not every day. There would be good days. There would be wow, cool, but then the next day, shitty day. Yeah. So it was I was up and down. I was having problems with relationship. My friend wrecked my car. My housing situation was in the air. I was damn near living out of my car. That was fucked up. So, it was just bad. But I'm, you know what I'm saying? You bounce back. I got it together now. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing better, and I feel good. I feel strong. I feel healthy. You feel me? So, a slump, yeah, I guess so. Shit, it was hard. But, it gets better.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just I don't know, for me personally, I feel like I felt a little bit of a slump, and the reason why I haven't felt a slump was because I was unsure about what was next. It's just I moved out to LA. I was working for Live Corporate, and I hated that shit, honestly. That shit fucking sucked. I was driving literally an hour and a half every day there and back, so total 3 hours just driving to Buena Park, which is hella far, and it's just I saw no value from it. That shit sucked. It's just by a month I was there, it's just I was just okay, is this what I'm gonna be doing? And then it's just asking for opportunity of growth. I feel that was the big thing for me, because it's just I didn't feel like I was growing. I was feeling stagnant. It's just you got all your friends there. shit, you got abundance of women there. Like, it's just like everything falls into place. And then when you just kind of like remove yourself from that situation, and like it's just like
you got nothing there.
Yeah, you got nothing
Hell
there.
yeah. It's just you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You in your folks' room. Shit.
Yeah, and then that was a big transition for me, because it's just like I left DC living with having my own crib. Like, yeah, I had roommates and stuff, but then coming back here and living with my parents. And I don't know about y'all, but that shit fucking sucked. Like going from a place where you're
That's awful.
where you're independent.
That's awful, bro.
But yeah, going from a place where you're independent, and then coming to a place where it's just like you're being told what to do and take out the trash or wash the dishes and stuff. I was just like, man, in DC I can take out the trash when I want to. I can walk around the house with my drawers if I want to. Now it's just like I'm coming back, and it's a whole like, it's like you under a new ruling. Did you guys like feel the same way? Like, if you guys did come back and live at home?
Yeah, that definitely was a really tough adjustment, especially going to school on the other side of the country. You come back over here and you don't really have any like your school friends, you know, and most of your friends from high school, my friends from high school were still in school at that point. So one, just kind of being by myself in terms of like friends. I didn't really have that many friends back at home when I graduated. And then I don't know, I just feel like sometimes the relationship with your parents, sometimes you guys almost better love each other at a distance or from a distance. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to grow and to feel like you can grow when there's somebody marking your progress every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, progress doesn't show up every day. Everything you do every day leads to the progress. You know, so it's tough. Getting out of that house is super important. You know what I'm saying? I'm fortunate enough to have a girl now where I'm back and forth between being at home and not. But adjusting and communicating, if you really want to maintain a healthy relationship while you're at home, you just got to be able to communicate, because ultimately your parents can understand the struggle you're in, the situation you're in, especially if you did things what you think is the right way, you know? Mm-hmm. You went to school for 4 or 5 years and got a degree. Your parents can't be mad at you about that, you know what I'm saying?
Like, especially like your parents, like, you seem like your parents want the best for you. Like, I see that wholeheartedly. Like, when I talk to my dad, when I talk to my mom, like, it's just like, I know they want the best for me in all realms, like, but like, it's just sometimes it's like too much. Like, it's just like, feel like you just said, like, I feel like they're watching my every move, or like marking that progress. Oh, Darcel, you should be doing this. Oh, Darcel, you should be doing that. But it's like, when I come with my own ideas, just because they're not the traditional,
right,
what they're used to, go get a job and save up, get a job with a pension and stuff. Like, it's just like, it's scary for them. They
it's
think,
not an option now.
Yeah, like, so like, and it's just like, what I be trying to like get my parents to understand is like, things change. Like, it's just like, it's not like how it was in the 80s and 90s and stuff, where you can get a career and you're working these 40 hours a week and you're making great money and being able to save and have a pension. Like, things are not like that anymore.
Rent too damn high.
Yeah, like, rent is hella high. Like, our parents could go get a house and shoot, pay that house off within 10 years. Like, now it's just like, no, like, it's just like,
now we're paying off our student loans for 30.
Exactly.
Don't even bring that.
Student loans, like, it's just like, student loans is outrageous, and it's just like, yeah, like, it's just like, I don't know. I just want my parents to understand, like, it's just like, okay, like, it's just like, I got a degree. That's one thing I went to do, and then like, it's just like, I don't have any kids, like. So like, it's just like the way
I did two things right there. Okay.
Exactly. Like, the way I look at it is just like, as long as I ain't got no other mouths to feed, like, as long as I'm taking care of myself, paying my bills, because like, one thing about me is just like, I've been, since like my junior year of college, like, I've been fully independent. So like, it's just like, I've been paying all my bills, paying my car note, paying student loans and stuff. So it's just like, leave me alone. Like, stop telling me what to do, what I need to be doing. Like, it's just like, let me figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
And it's just like, sometimes like, it's just like, they don't want you to figure it out on your own, which is understanding. But it's just like sometimes you just gotta go figure the shit out on your own.
It's like telling you not to do something. Like, no, I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna learn. Otherwise, I'm gonna do it later and fuck up harder.
Yeah.
It's like this anxiety. Like if you're sitting at home for 2 seconds, like not even doing something, they just give you that look. And
I feel guilty.
Start giving you this preacher shit about how you need to be doing this and that, or you're not doing this or whatever. It's like, you know what I was doing for the past 4 hours, though, but you see what I'm doing for these 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That's your judgment.
When that happens to me, I will call work and be like, has anyone called out?
you
That's
just
a
be like,
shame.
Damn.
yeah, because it's like,
I mean, I work out here,
Right.
so I don't mind at all. Like, it's a great job. I love what I do.
You shouldn't feel like that.
But I
though.
shouldn't feel like that, yeah.
do you guys feel like you guys kind of have a direction of where you go and like where you want to go and where is that direction to?
Absolutely. Someone said something?
No, you go ahead.
No?
Yeah, absolutely. I know what I'm doing now. Took a long path, but I'm leaving in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that, to move back to Florida for nursing school. I already know where I want to take it after that, an accelerated program, so I'll be done 16 months, have my license in 18, hopefully. And I know exactly where I want to go right after that, saying I can get in.
So what
I'm
are
ready.
those things that you want to get into? You know, mind, or you don't have to expand more.
I want to get into military nursing. I want to do something like that where I can still work in the field, work in those kinds of hospitals, help out, because I wasn't able to get into the military. I blew out my knee. As an officer, a regular officer, they wouldn't touch you, but as a nurse, they will, because it's not combat, blah, 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 all that stuff. So I still get to do that, which sets you up great for life, and then you have all the experience doing a great thing, and if you want to pop out, like, you're going to be at the top of everyone's list.
Yeah, like, and I feel like that's important, like, just setting yourself up to know what you want to do, and kind of have that, like, guideline. I feel like that's important, like, just developing that plan, because, like, if you're just walking aimlessly, like, it's just, like, it's kind of, like, that's counterproductive, like, it's just, like, I feel like you kind of always need some type of plan, like, it's just, like, even if it's just short term, like, one thing that I started that I found, like, was important was, it's just, like, I started, like, writing out my goals. Like, at the beginning of the year, like, I wrote out certain goals that, like, I wanted to accomplish. Another thing that I picked up on was reading more. Because you can get so caught up in, like, social media.
Yeah.
And
Your mind rots.
yeah, like, it's just, like, you're not putting no productiveness into your body.
Phones, bro. Man, so I realized, like, just a little picture of my weekend, like, I've not slept a lot. And I've been like, damn, like, I need to take a nap. Why can't I take a nap? Well, it's because I'm, like, still engaged with my phone. My phone is still within arm's reach. And that mental aspect of knowing, even if you're not looking at it, but you know that that whole thing is right there. So it's still, like, within your orbit. You really got to take it and then throw it in another room.
It's the only way to nap.
Yeah, to sleep. So, like, I'm over here, like, running on shitty sleep. Like, I need to just get off the phone. Like, so tonight I know that I need to just disconnect so that I can focus in and then get some rest. So that's that about phones. About reading books, that is what I really picked up. Coming out here, like, at first, you know, you first get to a new place, like, you don't know what's going on. Ain't nobody hitting you up. Like, if you hit people up, it's kind of like, hey, I'm trying to be dependent on you to show me a good time. Like, and that's not a way to, like, hit people up, or, you know, nobody want to do that. So I decided to just I would go up to Century City Mall, get me something at the Amazon books. The first book that I picked up that really started me always having my head in a book, I read the autobiography of Gucci Mane.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a page turner. I highly recommend it. Very good read. Read it in 2 days, and then kept it going. So I read a lot of biographies and autobiographies now because they have that nonfiction aspect of, like, someone's real life experience, but they also have a story being told because people are telling the stories of their lives. So that is a thing that has pushed me forward. It just gets my mind right. You know what I'm saying?
Like you can't beat reading a book. Like it's a value that has been around. It's advanced the world forward. And though we have all these different screens and different things to have our heads in, like you can't beat a book. Right? Yeah. Just to piggyback.
Reading. I started reading a lot this year on my birthday. My birthday is the beginning of the year, fortunately, so it's like a really new turn of the page. So I told myself I was just gonna read, didn't say how many books, didn't say this, that, or the other, just I'm gonna start to read. And biography, really stood out to me. I finished a couple weeks ago. It was by a Howard alum, Ta-Nehisi Coates, Between the World and Me. My goodness, just being in the perspective, in the shoes of another individual, you know what I'm saying? It just opens up your eyes and your vocabulary and the way you talk and your peace of mind. But, you know what I'm saying? Reading is just healthy for you. Again, so that your mind and your brain isn't rotting in a phone. You're not worried about things that are going on in the world, things that you're not doing.
You get lost in it.
Exactly. You get lost in that book, you get lost in another world.
The first book I read this year was Rise and Grind by Damon John from Shark Tank, and that was a great book. Just stuff like, it's just like, I felt like I was getting a lot from it because like it's just like he was giving tips, and he had other people in the book that were giving tips on just how they go about their life. And I feel like if you're trying to make any type of change or any type of progress, you need to see like what other successful people are doing. So like it's just like just getting tips from that, and like being able to like, okay, like maybe I can use this to enhance my life, for me to grow. I feel like that was so important because it's just like with phones and having social media, you get none of that. Like it's just like only thing you looking at on Instagram and Twitter and stuff
is instant gratification.
Exactly.
That's all we're seeing. Exactly. And that's what's screwing up our heads and screwing up our minds.
You seeing motherfuckers posting shit and fucking Lambos, BMWs and shit, and it's not even theirs.
Not even that. Like what messed me up big time, again, coming back to LA, going to an East Coast school, you know what I'm saying, just having nobody at home really. When I graduated, I was too busy looking up Snapchat and Instagram, seeing what the folks that I graduated with were doing.
Yeah.
And just me being upset that I wasn't in that position. I wasn't doing the shit they were doing.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, self-torment. Obviously, I did it all to myself, really, but that stuff can really screw with your head, for sure.
So how long did it take you to realize that?
It took me a minute, bro. I really had a real bad depression, honestly. I was having like anxiety attacks in my car on my way to work. I was really going through it. Damn. It took me a minute to really just like get back on my feet because in I think like November, late October, I got into a car accident, totaled my car. 2 hours later, got fired from my job.
Damn.
So, you know what I'm saying? That put me on my ass, something vicious. And I was in my head so much, I didn't even ever try to like get myself out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's always about how you respond to a situation.
Yeah.
And everything, one way or another, is just a challenge, how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? It's just another game you got to face. You know what I'm saying? Another practice, whatever. And I just decided to mope in that shit and feel bad for myself for months on end and sit on my ass and not do shit, not make any move. So that in itself just doubled down on what I was already going through with that post-graduation shit. So fuck, I really started feeling like myself, I guess. Shit, probably a year ago around this time, like April, March, like, you know what I'm saying? I finally started like really working again. Just sort of seeing the brighter things in life, like really getting my mind right.
It's like, okay, I'm really about to get up out of this like depression.
Gosh, I don't ever really think I try to force myself out of it. I don't know, I just never really took action upon myself in my life in that point. You know what I'm saying? I was just really passive with things. I'll definitely say being around a lot of my friends who were depressed as hell helped a lot. Just understanding we was going through the same exact shit, you know what I'm saying? Like homies crying to me like, damn, like, I don't know what I'm gonna eat next week. Like, I gotta figure this shit out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just, it's a little reassuring knowing we all going through it. But just knowing that we care enough to realize it in itself is already a W, you know what I'm saying, one way or another, moving in that right direction. But, you know what I'm saying, just being around folks who knew me, you know what I'm saying, the folks who knew me and were just telling me the things I needed to hear without knowing it. You know what I'm saying? I think people in your life, for a certain reason, the universe works in mysterious ways, you know? So I think the universe put me around my homies who were just saying the right things to me. And because they were depressed as well, I had to, you know what I'm saying, get them out of their situations. Right. So that ultimately just sort of helped me get out of my stuff.
I feel like that's hard, though. Like, if you're in a form of depression, like, it's just like,
you don't want to do it.
You don't want to do shit. Like, you closed off to everybody. Like, it's just like, even if somebody's trying to show you the way, it's like, fuck you, I'm not trying to listen. Like,
it's tough. The main thing you can't do is push people away from you and alienate yourself. And that's the easiest thing to do. I think everybody is guilty of it. But, you know what I'm saying, when you keep that shit to yourself, you just make it worse for you because you're just getting in your own head. And that's just going to make everything 4 times worse than it already is. Toxic brain is just going to produce more toxic thoughts, you know, and it's only going to get worse from there.
Yeah. So is it ever a point where it's okay to be by yourself? Because I know I got to a point recently where I literally cut everybody off. Because not like saying like, oh, fuck you, but like, it's just like, I realized I wanted to reach a goal, and I realized it's just like, in order for me to reach that goal, it's like I kind of need to separate myself and just focus in, zone in, and just do the shit on my own, and like really not negative people, but not have unnecessary like distractions, like, because like I deleted social media from my phone, and I was just like, okay, until I reach my goal, like, it's just like, I'm kind of going to be like separated. Like, do you guys feel like that is a good thing to do, or do you feel like that could have some negative traits as well?
I think the focus is a good thing. Focus is necessary. And to build focus and discipline, you have to cut out the things that are preventing that. But at the same time, we're always better when we link together. You know, greatness doesn't happen in a vacuum. So maybe if those things that you have to cut off are toxic or are being a hindrance to you accomplishing your goals, then by all means cut out the toxicity. But on the flip side, don't cut it out and don't replace it with anything. Replace it with things that grow you, that challenge you, that build you, people who, you know, continue to water you as a plant and help you to become the best version of yourself. Invest in that. If you cut something off and just leave yourself out in the open, like you just flying in the wind, like, you feel me? You just as bad off because you don't know where you're gonna land by cutting yourself off from the things that was holding you down. And it's cool for you to like want to take that leap, but you have to still be anchored to something because greatness does not happen in a vacuum.
That's definitely real. And I mean, I feel like I've replaced it in a way, like I said, with reading books, watching productive interviews and shit. Like one thing that I watch.
Interviews are great.
Yeah, interviews are really great. Like I watch like the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, Breakfast Club is live.
Yeah. And like it's so much jewels like outside of like the music artists that the Breakfast Club has got. Like they bring people on there
politicians.
Talking. Yes.
You got Bernie on there. You got Liz Warren on there. You got Yang on there too.
You got credit coaches.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
All the.
Yeah. So like I feel like that's definitely important because it's just like a lot of times like. Again, we just look at the bullshit. Like so, like it's just like people turn on Breakfast Club and we looking at what 6ix9ine is talking about or what Birdman is talking about.
The viral moment.
I'm trying to build wealth. I'm trying to be able to like be the best Darcel that I can be, so like I can impact others in a positive way. That's my only goal in life, really. Because it's just like if you're doing stuff for selfish reasons, it's just like it's just like that's pointless. It's just like I want to be able to share it with everybody, with my friends, with my homies, with everybody. So it's just like I feel like that's important. Really, just cutting out the negatives and not cutting it out all the way because it's like you can still like look at Instagram, look at all these things, look at different videos and like get your entertainment for the day. But as long as you realizing that, that you can put other things in there that's healthy, it works out. And one other thing that I saw that was dope was on the iPhone, it tells you how much
Screen time.
Yeah, I've been getting those updates
out
on
like a
this.
motherfucker.
Yeah, it's like, oh, so you gonna open it up again? You want me to remind you in 15 minutes again? Yeah, okay.
Cool. That weekly report.
Every week I'm like, I want to get that now.
See, look at you, all that. You look at you.
Like 1 week I thought I was on it for a long time. It said I dropped 480%. I was like, Jesus, fuck. I wonder how long I was on it before.
Yeah, but I feel like that shit is cool though, because you can also set like a timer, like, okay, I only want to be on this app for 5 hours this week, and I feel like that's definitely,
You can do that?
yeah. So like it's just like, you see, like what people don't know about, like, because that shit is definitely, like, it definitely helps out. So just realizing that and like cutting back on the shit, like I feel like that does help, like help you get to where you're going, because it's just like we can get so caught up in the bullshit. Like touching back on like the social media gratification part a little bit, it's just like so easy to get caught up in what the next person is doing. So easy, because like it's just like you see motherfuckers like doing things in what appears to be great, and granted there's a lot of people out here doing great things, but if you let that consume your mind, it's just like that shit, you're never gonna grow.
Right.
Like it's just like you got to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna focus on this today. I'm not gonna worry about what the next man is doing. Like stay in your lane, put those blinders on. Don't worry what's on the right or the left of you, and just push through and push forward. So I feel like that's definitely important, because just like in this day and age, it's just like it's easy to get caught up in what other people are doing. So easy. And like I feel like you said, Drake, I feel like that can lead to a point of depression and stuff. You see other people doing things, but it takes you off your game.
Definitely. I think context matters as well. Sort of your mindset going into sort of cutting people off or sort of narrowing your focus. So you got to have the right mindset ultimately. If you're cutting people out, you know, just for selfish reasons, just because you want to prove a point, just because this, just because that, it's not really helping you ultimately. You know what I'm saying? It's never good to burn a bridge one way or another. You got to be able to identify what's actually toxic and what's actually keeping you from being the best, keeping you from being your best self. You know what I'm saying? You got to water that plant. You got to water the seed, like Alex was saying.
You can't just throw people away though. Like you say, you can't burn a bridge. Like that's not healthy for anybody. But you can choose not to spend that much time around people. Exactly. Like I've found that I cannot be around negative people, you know. And a lot of people make a habit out of just like putting themselves down all the time. Like, oh wow, like I'm terrible. Yeah, I suck. Yeah, knowing me, I'm gonna mess it up. Like just talking bad. It's like popular to like talk bad to yourself, and like that is toxic. That right there is toxic. And hearing like people give the woe is me and this is terrible, like I don't want to be around that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's people who, you know what I'm saying, I've known and loved, and I just know that I can't spend that much time around them, because what they put out is not what I'm trying to soak up.
It's kind of hard, because like those same people who putting that negative energy in the air could be your best friend.
Could be your best friend.
Could be your family. Like it's just like,
it's real tough.
And so like it's tough, like, because as much as you love a person and stuff, like it's just like it's so necessary to you gotta just like, okay, take a step back. And it's just like, because if you don't, you're gonna be that same negative person.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you're only as good as the people that you have around you.
Right.
Exactly. Like you're an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
So who are you gonna spend the most time with?
That's crazy.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I listened to a podcast called Entrepreneurs on Fire by John Lee Dumas, and he says that at the end of each episode, like your average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you've been spending time with JLD and whoever the guest is. And so to touch back on podcasts and like the content that you consume, like that is like the people that you're spending time around. You're just not physically with them, but in the digital age, we're still getting that. We're still getting that. Like whoever you put onto your radio, you feel me? Whatever you listening to, like
Shit, whoever you follow too.
Whoever you follow, like that's why, like, bro, I be having to mute people. Like I be having to mute people on Instagram. Like, you know, if you unfollow, that's kind of cutting them off. But if you mute them, just mute their ass.
Right.
Like I ain't got to see you.
Like you, I just don't want to see what you got to post.
We're still connected. I just don't want to see you.
Yeah, because some people just be on the ground just talking about the most ridiculous shit. And, like, it's just be like, what? Like, it's just like, what the fuck do you got to do with your day?
Unprovoked shit, too.
Yeah.
No one said you wasn't a bad bitch. We get it. We get it.
But that shit be real. Like, this just be like, I mean, I definitely... I'll press the unfollow button real quick. If you get on my nerves, I'll be like, unfollow. Because I just don't want to see that shit. Like, it's just like it's not helping me none. Like, it is and like, you know, it becomes a problem when it's just like every time that person comes up,
Pisses
like,
you off, right?
Pisses you off. Like, what the fuck are you talking about today?
Shut the fuck up.
But that shit is definitely real. It's just like you can even get caught up with just like looking at ass and titties on Instagram.
I follow, like, okay, so I've had my Instagram account for a while, and I think that for a period, or even subconsciously, if she's bad, I might follow. I might follow her. It might just be to see if she follows me back, but I probably won't double back to unfollow her if she doesn't. So now it's like, I'll be like, yo, where do I know this person? She bad though. I don't know this person. Like, will I ever cross paths with them? No. Like, you know, it's like the social media, man. You gotta be Instagram, bro. You gotta be careful with that thing. Like, it is, because you can create a whole reality based on the content that you're scrolling for hours on end every day. Yeah. So all that ridiculous, unprovoked stuff that people out here talking about, it's just like, yo, what the hell? Like, but that actually is their reality. Like, they're actually like, like,
all these
y'all motherfuckers out here doing this, that, and the third. I'm like, who is y'all? But y'all is whoever they allowing into their life.
Yeah, nah. And it be killing me when motherfuckers be in the comments on some shit. Like, it's just like, they be in the comments of celebrities.
No one's gonna see it. You just want to start some shit. Like, you gotta have something better going on in your day.
Hey, ESPN and Bleacher Report be funny though. Funny. I always go in there to see what they said, and it's like, use me as a Katie's a bitch, but like,
like, it's just like, it's kind of what we grew up on. It's just like, oh, this is the thing to do. And one thing like that I didn't realize that I was doing is just like, when I be like drinking and stuff on social media, like, it's just like, I'm just having a good time and stuff. But it's just like, I started to realize it's just like, not everybody needs to know.
You look back at
like, it's just like, I guess that's getting older a little bit too. Like, you just starting to realize it's just like, that shit is stupid. That shit is dumb. Like, it's
that
just
is dumb. Every time I go on the day after, whatever, I'm like, what was I thinking?
It's like, all right, delete. Yes.
Because like, it's just like, in reality, like, it's just like, be tripping. Like,
just be drunk. Like, just be drunk. Yeah, like, you know, you drunk when it's like, you can't help but to be like, hey. I'll just be like, no. It's one on my story right now. By the time this goes live, it's not going to be. There's one on my story right now.
I was using drinking as a crutch almost. Like, it's just like, especially when I first moved out here, it's just like, I would go to work Monday through Friday, and I'll be working all these long ass weeks. It's just like, on the weekend, it's just like, all right, feel like I'm ready to get bent. Like, it's just like, I'm ready to get tore up. So like, it's just like Friday and Saturday, like, it's just like, you getting active, like, shit, throwing it back, got the J-Mo, got the 50 crown, like, whatever.
We lit.
Yeah, we lit. Like, it's cool. And then like, and then even on Sundays, like, shit, it's time to go to brunch.
Let's go to brunch, bottomless. Let's get it.
Let's get this bottomless going. But then, like, it's just like, I started to realize it's just like, I was using that as a crutch to kind of hide my pain and my problems a little bit. Like, because it's just like, I didn't want to face the shit.
So
like,
there's times you'd have to sit in it where you're sitting down, you're not doing anything. You're working. You're tired, you go to bed, you spend 3 hours on the road a day.
Yeah. So like, it's
weekends,
just like,
you have to live with it.
Yeah. And on the weekends, like, you got to live with it. So it's just like, oh shit, like, I don't feel like, oh fuck, I got this bill I need to pay, or fuck, I only got $100 in my account to last me to the next 3 days. Like, it's just like, fuck it, I'm just about to get me a bottle and shit. I ain't gonna have to think about that shit until tomorrow, so it's gonna be cool.
You're gonna turn up tonight and you're gonna spend your money and your time. Like, man, right now, like, I'm kind of running at a deficit because, you know, granted, part of the reason why I was starting to run short on sleep is because I was waking up early for a mentoring program, which is great. But, you know, if I'm waking up at 6:30 and I went to bed at 4, like, you know, you can do the math. It's not very sustainable. So I'm operating at a deficit right now. And when I look at kind of going into Friday, like, I had some good momentum. Like, I was like, yeah, I know what I'm about to do. And I was excited to push forward into it. Now, because I'm running at a deficit, like, Monday's not going to be as productive as I wanted it to be. Still trying to make sure that it, you know, I can still like push it forward a little bit, but I could have had a super Monday, but now I'm trying to recover from the weekend. And, you know, it might be until Tuesday, Wednesday until I get my momentum back going. So it's all about what you put in your body, and alcohol is a poison.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I like to turn up, bro. Yeah. I like it. It's fun. Like, that's how I like to socialize.
Feel good in the moment too. You got that liquid courage. Shit, you shooting at anything.
You
like
shooting, bro. Like, it's all fluid. Like, you know, spirits is high. It's all good. It's time and place for it. If it's all the time, then you're going to be at a deficit, and it has to be recovered some type of way. And if you don't stop, then it's gonna take out of your mental health. You know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Now when I get drunk, it's not like when I used to. I used to be able to bounce back quick. Now I be hurt. Like, it's just like I be hurt for 2 3 days after. You can just feel the shit. Like, right. It's just like you like, fuck, like, why am I still feeling like this? And it's just like it causes you to not want to do shit, causes you to be sluggish, lazy and shit. Like, it's just like that shit sucks. So like, it's just like doing it in moderation and shit, and like not. And then like one thing I realized is just like you don't have to get drunk every time you drink.
Yeah.
Like, no, you can drink and be social and be casual. That's why you got. That's why I started drinking wine.
Yeah, that wine, that's a vibe.
Nice. That's the vibe right there. Sipping nice and slow. You know what I'm saying? Nice and relaxing.
Yeah.
You don't feel drunk.
Yeah.
Make you feel like sensual almost.
Yeah.
That's the word I would use.
And then you go to sleep.
Right.
And a good transition is to work out as well. I feel like that's one thing that's helped me a lot too. It's just like I've been going to the gym, and like that shit, it's like another form of meditation in a way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just like, cause I'm in there, like, it's just like got my music in. It's just like I can focus, and then like it's just like I feel better too. It's like been drinking a lot more water, and just like going to the gym, being there for an hour and a half, and it's just like I'm getting a good workout in. My body feels a lot better, and it's just like that helps with you trying to be productive and going out, going about in your days and stuff.
Using the energy in a positive way.
Another thing, so I was, for a second, right before the time changed, I was waking up at 5 in the morning, and waking up early, man, like they say that entrepreneurs and successful people, they wake up early. Like,
got to.
Waking up at 4:30 in the morning, you get to full workout. It's like solitude because nothing's going on. Nothing's going on at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And so it's really the early bird really does get the worm. Like so by the time the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock comes around, you are sharp, you are clicking, you are locked in. Like, you're way ahead of the game versus people who like rolled out of bed and woke up in traffic on the way over there and rolled out and okay, now I'm here, now let me just get through the day. Like, but if you woke up, like you didn't even have any of that, because you got up, you start working out, your blood is flowing, you pumping, and you like, by the time 8 o'clock comes around, you're at full speed.
Right.
And I've even seen a stat where it measures out over time. You have 30 days extra of productivity in a year. Wow. 30 days of productivity. So imagine just like if you had 30 days to just do what you had to do to be successful.
It's a whole extra month.
That's what you can get by waking up early every day.
Yeah. That's, waking up hella early is just like, you get a lot more things done.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, cause you can get up, you can get you a good breakfast in, you can go to the gym. Like, there's so many things you can do in the morning. It's just like, even if you gotta run errands and stuff, like, it's just like, if you wake up at like 9, 10 o'clock, and then you got to go to work or some shit, like, there's nothing like, and then after work you're trying to fit in the gym, you got to go go to the bank before it closed.
Right.
Like you got to go pick up this and that. Like it's just like it's not enough hours in the day, and it's just like you're really not maximizing your time. And like that's one thing that I do get from waking up early is just like being able to maximize your time. Like it's just like time is so precious. Getting up early and just maximizing the day, and like kind of going back to when we played football and stuff, we used to say like win the day. Like it's just like getting the early start is part of winning that day.
Yep.
Being successful, I feel like it's just like you gotta separate yourself and do the things that everybody doesn't want to do.
Exactly. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
I notice waking up, even if you don't like get to work out or something like that, but waking up and immediately just like meditating.
Yeah.
Talking to yourself, you know what I'm saying? Getting right with your mind before getting your day started. Like you would warm up any one of your muscles before starting any sort of exercise. People don't really warm their brain up before starting their day. We don't really think about that, you know? We all just kind of like check our phones the first thing, you know what I'm saying? Or check our messages, you know what I'm saying? Imagine like literally the first thing you wake up, you don't even look at your phone, you don't care what time it is. You get up and you just meditate. You tell yourself your affirmations, your goals, everything you need to know for the day, whatever. You'll be so surprised how much a better mood that'll start your day and get you going for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and that's one thing. One of the books that I read is just like your the way you spend your first 15 minutes from when you wake up is how your day is going to be.
Exactly.
And that's very important. Like so you wake up, first thing you do is check Instagram. You looking at bullshit. Like it's just like
there you go.
That's how your day.
Bullshit.
So it's just like what I try to do is just like I'll even turn on the news in the morning, or I'll listen to an interview or something first thing in the morning, or even like I'll listen to a quick sermon or something, and it's like that gets my mindset in a good spot to where okay, this is how my day is gonna go. And oftentimes you get powerful messages and stuff like stuff, and it can be very subliminal, but you'd be like, damn, like what he just said that relates to me and what I'm going through right now, or what I was thinking. Like it's just like what I was thinking, he just confirmed it right there. Like, and it's just like, so just doing that, and I feel like that's definitely important in like in the way you move going about your day, because it can be hard, it can be difficult, but it's just like you kind of just gotta get a good routine and stick with it.
Right.
I'm prolific, so gifted. I'm the type that's gon' go get it, no kidding. Breaking down a swish in front of your building. Sitting on the steps, feeling no feelings. Last night it was a cold killing. You gotta keep the devil in his hole, nigga. But you know how it go, nigga. I'm front line every time it's on, nigga. 100 pro flow, running shoot pro. 458 drop, playing bulletproof soul. Every few shows I just buy some new gold. Circle got smaller, everybody can't go. Downtown Diamond District, jewelers like yo. Hustle, holla at me, I got Cubans on the low. Through the Cancun, smoking Cubans on the boat. Then dock that Tulum just to smoke.